Sure, sir.
Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Zain Iqbal Khan. I am a trainer, 3 animation and VFX trainer at Nerul ITM. Okay, so let me show you first. Let me share my screen with you all. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
so first let me show you my portfolio on ArtStation. You can go through this. Some of my works can be found over here. You can check it. I'll put the link in the chat for my portfolio. All right, enough about me. So today we will be learning about PBR. Okay, just give me a minute. As we all know, the rendering
Yes, sir. Yeah,
of
yeah.
physical based rendering or photorealistic based rendering. Okay, when we speak about PBR, one thing comes in mind, right? What is it actually? What is PBR? See, basically, if in simple terms, if I'll explain to you what PBR is in like verbally, if you want me to explain to you, it is kind of a texturing technique where the lights would react to the surface, or the surface would react to the lights, vice versa. Like when you put up, when you suddenly put up a text, when you put a texture on a model, uh, the lights should react, right? To give it more realistic feel. Say, for example, when we see in the movies or in games, in the modern AAA games, when we see the lights do react to the surface, to the surroundings, to the environment that we see. You must have seen, right? Seen the modern AAA games. Just let me show you one example. Sorry, I didn't wanted to type PBR. See all of these reflections that we see, the real-time reflections that we see, that can be termed as PBR. So, like I've explained to you what is PBR and what is the use of it. See, all the modern day movies and the modern gaming studios, all of them, they use PBR shading technique. In previous movies, like when we talk about, say, 2000, 2010s, early 2000s, there was the kind of technique was, experimental. Like people were already experimenting with this, and certainly they had to do a lot of composition just to get that realistic based look, so that the lights, they used to fake it, like as if they used to use the fake PBR technique, where the lights would react to the particular surface through compositing. But now, due to the introduction of PBR shading techniques, the job is easier now. So you'll ask me, PBR किस में हो सकता है, and in which software can we do PBR? There's no particular limit in which software you can do. Almost each and every software, modern day software, support PBR shaders. Say for example, Maya, either Blender, Max, you just name it. Okay, so over here, I have what I'll do is I'll first show you how can we create PBR shaders or PBR textures inside Substance Painter. I'm using 2018 version of Substance Painter. I don't have the latest one. So some of you might be having the latest one, but it doesn't make a difference. The technique is the same. Just give me a minute. It is, yeah, sure. So I'll export this plane, this flow plane, and send it to Substance Painter, which is quite a simple process. File export selection, and I'll name this as floor plane. How we can achieve PBR is what the intention to learn now. Okay, I'll select my plane. Flow plane, there it is. I'll leave all these to default and take a look over here. See, there's a template. Substance Painter gives you a lot of templates. I'll select PBR metallic roughness. This is non-PBR. Okay, so there's a difference. We are working on PBR pipeline. So over here, I have a bunch of downloaded textures already, just to ease up the things. Just a minute. I cannot find my folder over here. All right, here it is. So I'll import those textures that I have downloaded, and you can check them inside this software. Okay, I'll import the resources. See here, there are a bunch of downloaded PBR textures, and you can see as soon as I double click on the folder, you'll see a bunch of maps. One is the diffuse map or the albedo map. Both of them are same. Then we have the occlusion map. Then we have displacement map. Then we have normal map, and then we have roughness map. So this is the particular flow of PBR texturing. A PBR texturing always follows two pipelines. One is metal roughness pipeline. And the other one is specular gloss. Okay, specular gloss. So either ways, in both of them, you'll get the same result, but the way to use them is different. So today I'm going to use metallic roughness, but I'm also going to show you how to use specular gloss if in case you want to use that. So what I'll do is I'll import all of them quickly, all of these maps quickly into my Substance Painter. I'll leave the displacement EXR as it is because I don't need it right now. See, here I have the bunch of maps. I have the map that I want. I'll put them into the texture folder of Substance Painter. You people might be familiar with Substance Painter, am I right?
Yes, sir.
So I'll install it in my current session. Okay, so the first thing is first, we need the base color to go in it first. So I'll create a new layer, new fill layer, right click. I'll switch off these properties and I'll just have my color over here. What I'll do is I'll put my color into the base color. So there it is. I have my base color done. But as you can see, the surface is shiny. I have no bumps. I have no proper roughness that I want. Shine is standard. It's not getting obstructed. So definitely we need roughness, normal, and bump maps, right? Even if you right click on this layer and if you switch on the roughness tab and just make the roughness to 1, still you won't get that feel of that obstruction, that roughness obstruction, that realistic feel that we are supposed to get. So what I'll do is I'll switch off the roughness property. Now I'll name this layer as base color, and then I'm going to create another layer. Right click. This time I'll switch off the color, roughness, metal. All I'm going to do is keep the height property on. In this, I'm going to use my displacement texture. I'll drag it over here. Now you can see right now it looks kind of shiny, but the difference you can see. So we have started to get the PBR for our particular model. Okay, now I'm going to create another layer. And for this layer, I'm going to use roughness. And guess what? The roughness goes into the roughness panel. So there you have it. The model is certainly rough and it has bumps. I'll name this as, create another layer. I'll name this as normal map. Okay. Now, switch off all the tabs, take, drag a layer, normal map, and now you can see the difference. So difference between height map and normal map is quite simple. See, height maps work in blacks and whites. If you can see, the blacks goes in and the whites comes up. And the normal maps work in RGB format. It is basically the direction of the normals. Like, say for example, if you have done something inside ZBrush and you have detailed it quite a lot, but still you would want that those details to be captured on a low poly. So it is not possible for any software to render a very high poly mesh. So what we do is we bake the maps into normals, like the normals which are facing the camera. Okay, and then the information is baked into inside a texture map. Say whatever it be, it might be 1K, 2K, or 4K, depending upon the resolution that the particular studio wants, and then they are applied over your model. You can see as I'm rotating the lights, I'm getting that PBR. The lights are the model is reacting to the lights. Even though the model is entirely flat, it has no depth, no details, yet it is reacting to the light. And if you look at it from here, you can see I'm getting that nice look. And that too, the texture size is set to just 1K. If I'll switch this to 2K, it might lag a little bit, but I'll get those details. You can see. And if I'll go up higher, although I cannot go right now because my PC is not quite, the configuration is not quite that high, I'll get more better look than this. But never mind, even 1K looks fine to me. But one map is remaining, and you'll ask me, where will this map go? AO. What are AO maps? AO maps are nothing but contact shadows. Okay, in the real world, we see contact shadows. There are shadows from the shadows appearing from the light, and as well as the shadows that come from the contact shadows. Okay, so what I'll do is create another layer. I'll add AO, but this time I'll switch off all the properties and keep the color property on. Now my AO map will go in the base color. Okay, here it is. But see, you can see the depth I'm getting. The only difference is it is completely white. But that is okay. We can use the Photoshop technique, which is set the AO layer to multiply. And there it is. We have an entirely decent looking texture, which looks highly realistic according to me. I don't know if you can see it. Okay. So you can see
So can you please turn on the high-ray preview once?
height preview.
No, no, high-ray preview. I mean, the rendering preview.
Okay, okay, the rendering preview. All right.
Yeah.
I'll clear the background. You can see the lights reacting to the model. Basically, it's just the texture that is reacting, but the kind of maps that we have used is generating that fake illusion that this map is real, like this model is real, but it has no details on it. As we have seen, it is just a force, it is just a single poly, right? Now I'm going to show you the maps in, is it okay now? Can I switch back to painting mode?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'll show you the maps in Photoshop as well. And we can go over through, have a look, have a detailed look at those maps. Just let Photoshop open. In the meantime, I'll check how this one looks in 2K after applying occlusion map. As and as it goes, it is getting clearer and clearer. Obviously, you need some nice detailed maps from the internet. That is not the case that you don't need it. You still want to create some, get some nice quality textures. There are a few websites from where you can get PBR shaders. I'll explain them. I'll go through them. So, okay, so my Photoshop is open. Okay. So I'll open one of the maps, not this one. Yeah, we were working on this. Okay. Okay, here I have my albedo map. Okay, there is one difference between albedo map and diffuse map, which I wanted to speak. Normally, they are base colors, which is fine. But in albedo maps, what they do is, they take the base diffuse color and neutralize the shadows that are coming through photos. Like say, for example, if you click a photograph of a texture, any texture that you want from your high-end DSLR, and you will get shadows from the natural light. So basically, that is the texture that you have actually clicked a photograph. But in many cases, you don't want those artificial lights, the lights that are coming from the real world. You only want your model to react to the lights and different shaders that are coming through the model itself, through the 3D world itself, uh, rather than the real world. So what they do is, what the artists do, they neutralize the shadows, and that particular map is called albedo. There's a lot of difference, but if you'll notice, albedo versus diffuse. Okay, see.
So, sir, basic difference is in the base color, we can see the shadows, right? And in
Yes,
albedo, the shadows will be
yes,
no longer there.
no longer there.
Okay,
They
okay.
can only react to the shadows from the 3D world. See, you can see the difference over here. Here you have shadows that have actually been, captured through a photograph. But here, what they have done is they have neutralized those shadows so that they can generate shadows only through the 3D world. See, it makes a lot of difference. If you notice the AAA games, you'll notice the shadows and the lights that we are getting. They look quite realistic, if you'll ask me. The reason why most of the gaming engines use albedo pipeline. This is the same one. Here you see. And it is mostly, you know, helpful for skin textures, if you'll ask me. Obviously, this file cannot be seen, but now you can see through this. Here they have neutralized the shading, and here it is a diffuse one. That is actually the captured image. That is the difference. Okay, is it clear the difference between albedo and diffuse? Okay, so yeah, I have my albedo map. Let's take a look at so at occlusion map. See, as soon as I hit multiply, you can see the contact shadows. This was the same thing that was happening in Substance Painter. See how important this map is, and almost every game engine use occlusion map. Every game engine. Without this, you won't get that look that we are going for. Rock jagged, and I'll open displacement is height maps. As let's open this up. See, blacks goes in, whites come out. Blacks goes in, whites come out. Now let's take a look. The map that I wanted to show, it was roughness. So the white areas means that those surface will be rough, and the gray areas means those areas surfaces might be a little less rougher. But the areas that are black are going to completely be shiny. Okay, it is different than specular. In specular maps, it is the other case. Okay, say for example, if I want smoothness in or shininess in certain areas. Say for example, I want shininess over here a little bit. This area needs to shine a little bit. Say for example, I need to show wet surface. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to paint with black over here, these areas, just to get that uh, kind of smooth or shiny look or a wet look. Let me increase the opacity. I won't take much time in this, but I'm just going to show you randomly. You can go on and download water puddle textures from net and create them. The shapes, you can make them black, entirely black. So what I'll do is I'll save this roughness map as a second version. So I'll name this as 02 and I'll save it. Save this. Have a look at this right now. It is entirely rough. The reason was it was entirely white. Okay, as we have seen. Now, file, import resources, add resources, and we are going to search for the newly created map, texture, current session import. All right, I have this map now. I'm going to create another roughness map over here, and I'll deactivate the previous roughness map. Okay, now I'm going to apply my created. Now set this, and let's switch to material view. Now you can see. Have a look at this. Right? These areas are shining. Why? Because I have painted with black over here. Not entirely black. If I would have used 100% black, it would have looked very, very shiny. So this is one trick to, create a kind of a wet surface or a rough surface. You can alter if you are showing, a really very wet surface. You can just alter this map and just go through here. Just, you know, as you can see now, this is going to be very, very shiny. This map is going to be very shiny. If you want to see, you can check it. File save as. I'm sorry, I'm going to repeat this step. Okay, I'm going to reapply this inside this map. See how bad it is because we haven't done it properly, but you get the point. So that is the key thing about roughness map. So now it looks really bad. So I'm going to switch back to where we were. Okay, now the other way to, you know, alter the roughness and heights of the surface is, in fact, I'm going to show you. I'm not going to speak, I'm going to show you. Okay. So I'm going to group these and just a minute. Yeah. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use actually a different texture for here. And this time I'm going to show you another way to, alter the heights. Rockcliffe. We'll use this brick mortar. Okay, I'm going to bring all these maps quickly inside Substance Painter. Okay, so the base color is there. I'm going to switch off all the. Okay, now we have the base color, which is non-PBR as of now. I'm going to quickly create another layer and switch off the height properties. I'm going to name this as height. Okay, now I'm going to create a mask, add a black mask. Okay, and then the mask, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag the displacement texture, and then in the height, just a minute, I did something wrong here. I forgot this step. I'll remove this mask as of now, and basically the height needs to be altered. Add a black mask is right, and displacement goes over here as long as I know. Sorry. Okay, we'll look into this a little while later. What I'm going to do is right now, we're going to switch back to where we were. I don't know, maybe I might be missing some step over there. All right. So you can clearly understand the use of PBR. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the same thing in how to apply PBR shaders inside Maya. Okay. I don't know if like if you people know how to export textures through Substance Painter. If you want to learn that, I can show you. But I guess you people might be familiar with Substance Painter by now, so I don't have to show you that. The exporting the textures from Substance Painter, or you need me to show that?
Sir, I know, but it will be better if you show once.
Okay. I'll show you how to export the textures that we have applied through Substance Painter. I don't know why is this not getting. Okay, I'll control Z everything. I've grouped them, that's why maybe. Yes, that's the reason. Okay. So now we have our maps completely done, and now we are ready to export it and use it inside either Blender, Maya, Substance Max, or whatever, whichever software you like. So the procedure is simple. File, export textures. All right. Now here you can see the name. The name is nothing but the name of the shader that we have already used. If you want, you can double click on it and change the shader. And now when we hit this, you can see Rockstone. All right. Now underneath it contains a set of maps. All those maps that the Substance Painter is giving us through its own shader, own PBR shader. See, metal roughness, because we have used the metal roughness pipeline. So see, you
So
can
I have
see,
a question.
yes.
Like, if we are texturing a stone, then why we used a metal roughness surface
Yeah,
over
it is a
here?
good question. Uh, the pipeline is simple. See, for example, if you are, even though if you would have used a specular pipeline, even then, yeah, you wouldn't have to use anything that was shiny, because we are not working in shininess, right? We are working in roughness. So that's why this comes by default. The metallic that comes by default. Whenever you see the pipeline, you will see metal rough. That is the name of it. So even though if you're not using anything that is metal, yet you'll get a metal map, but that will be entirely black. An entirely black metallic map means there's nothing in it. So if there's nothing, it won't give you the metallic look. Understood? So that
Yes,
is the
sir.
name of the pipeline. Metal roughness and specular gloss.
And sir, there was like, as per I remembered that there was some other configurations like Arnold and all. So
Yes.
what if I going to shed my like model in Arnold using Arnold renderer, then what should we use? The PBR metallic roughness or the Arnold configuration for that?
You can use PBR metal roughness, because either ways they are going to give you the same maps. Only in
Okay.
this you get another extra map that is emissive.
Okay.
So
Right. Right.
the same thing. Right now we don't have anything which is emitting light.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's either ways. You can go with this metal roughness, and if you are using the specular pipeline, you can go with
Mhm.
PBR specular gloss.
Okay. Right.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm gonna select my text document size to 2K. All right. Or maybe it's better I'll switch to 1K. You can go ahead and go a little bit higher. If you have nice configuration in your PC, you can even go up to 8K. Okay. So I'll leave all these but as default, and I'm going to select my output folder. Here it is. I'm going to select name the folder, and then I'm going to create another folder inside, and I'll name this as rock, this stone. Sorry. All right. Select the folder, and everything is set. Done. Recheck it. We're getting all those maps, and then we will hit export. Open the folder to see the textures. There it is. Base color. We have the model name, we have the shader name, and then we have the name of the texture. See, flow, base color, height map, metallic map, which has nothing, it is entirely black. Then we have normal, and then we have roughness. So over to Maya. We suppose we want to bring in those textures from Substance Painter to Maya, inside Maya. How are we going to do that? How are we going to apply them? And obviously, I'll be using Arnold as a renderer engine. Okay, so I'm gonna first set my render settings. Let it open. Okay, now I'm gonna set my image resolution to around 1080 because I like a little bit higher. You can go ahead and choose whatever you want. I'm gonna select HD 1080 and Arnold is my renderer. I'm gonna leave all these settings to default as of now. Not gonna alter anything. Yes, I'm gonna create a new camera. Just to okay. So I'll select my plane and I'm gonna assign a new material, and the material will be Arnold AI standard surface shader. See, that's what I was talking about. All of these shaders are PBR based. They are physically based rendering shaders. You can see you have base color, you have specular, you have transmission for glass look, you have subsurface scattering for if you must have heard about subsurface scattering, translucency. Then you have roughness, which is metallic roughness. You have emission, thin film, geometry. Geometry is for bump maps, and then all of these maps are there. So the entire shader that we use is PBR, and we were not aware till now. Say, for example, in the base color, our base color will go file.
But sir, we for plugging the the displacement map, we have to access the hypershade, right?
Yes, we need to access the hypershade through here,
Okay.
or we can also go through here and can just plug in our displacement material through here. Okay, here we go. My computers and artworks masterclass. So the first things first, base color will have base color in it. I'll switch on my texture. All right. So far, it looks decent. The only thing is the shyness of the surface is not what we want, right? We have seen it inside Substance Painter. Now I'm using 2018 version of Maya. In the latest versions, there are a lot of changes. Okay, so all right. Now what I'm going to do is I want my roughness map to go because I'm using the roughness pipeline, right? I'll leave the metallic to as it is. I'm not going to alter, and I'm not going to touch it at all. See, it is set to 0, and I'm not going to even apply the map that we got from Substance Painter because we don't need it. There's no metalness in this, so it's just a map that we got, which we even if we use, we won't get anything. Nothing will be changed. Okay, I'll leave the specular weight and color to as it is. I'm going to go into my roughness, and guess what? Roughness. Obviously, the roughness map will go in the roughness tab. See this one over here. Now over here in Maya, there are few settings that we have to do, especially if you're using the version 2018 or 17 version of Maya. Whichever maps that are not colored, like apart from base color, every map's color space needs to be set to raw. Now, those who are using the newer versions of Maya won't even be knowing about this. Why? Because Maya does that for you automatically, the latest versions. But in the earlier versions, you need to set this color space to raw, or else it will be read as an sRGB. And we all have seen all of these maps are not colored, right? These are blacks and whites. These need information from these read information from blacks and whites. So we need to set the color space to raw, and another setting is color balance needs to be set to alpha is luminous. Okay, these two settings you need to remember. Same thing will be said about bump maps. Now in over here in Maya, in like in Arnold shader today, I'm only going to be using the normal map because it is going to give me the result that I want. So what I'm going to do is bump mapping. The normal maps are also going to go in geometry bump mapping. Okay, so this bump mapping you can see here. I'm going to go into my image, search for my texture. First, before applying, I'm going to set this to tangent space normal. Okay, which is nothing else but the normal map format. If you set this to bump map, you'll have to apply bump map over here. So I'll set this to now tangent space normal. Bump value. Now make note. In depth, the map won't go. The map will go only in the bump value. Okay. There you have it. Over here. We'll search for our normal map. Here it is. All right. Now it is starting to react. But always remember this setting. It needs to be set to raw, and the color space need to be alpha is luminous. All right. Now we don't need occlusion map over here because we have already applied it inside Substance Painter. Okay. So what I'm going to do is create lights. Directional lights. And just to check few things. E. Okay. Now I'm going to switch on the lighting display by hitting 7. So you can clearly see the lights are reacting. The surface is reacting to the lights, or the lights is reacting to the surface. So congratulations, we have our PBR texture setup inside Maya. So if we go ahead and have a close-up look and render it, I need this lighting to be a little bit higher. Whatever that looks good in viewport in Maya, sometimes you don't get that look. So either ways, we still need to recheck. All right, so I'm getting that the quality that I'm after. So you can clearly see if I'm going to select the lights, and if I'm going to rotate the lights, let me zoom in. Okay, so the Unreal Engine or Unity engine or all the modern day gaming engines, they all follow this pipeline, PBR workflow, all of them. So if you are looking to make a career out in texturing, you need to understand this, and you need to keep practicing the PBR shading technique. I hope it is somewhat clear what so your doubts are somewhat clear what is PBR, or you still have few questions. Just let me see the chat. I'm also
Hi Zain sir, how are you? This is Ajay here.
Hi Ajay sir, how are you?
Hi. So Zain sir, one personal note on behalf of my students of gaming.
Okay.
You like if you see any gaming models, right?
Okay.
There will be a lot of a lot of it will not be that detailed,
Yes,
but
sir.
they will have but they require that detailed look of any overall in open world games like any cities or any kind of a forest look or anything.
Yes, sir.
Do you suggest them on PBR picture style, or do you
Yes.
have any other options for them?
No, so PBR style would be, convenient because the gaming engines require real-time rendering, right? Whether it be
True,
Unreal
true, true,
or Unity. So,
true.
so to render it in real time, it requires a lot of power, right? So if that's why the gaming engines and all the gaming studios, they use the PBR pipeline, because you'll get that exactly that same kind of detail inside a low poly mesh. Okay. And if, say, for example, if you have a very high detailed character and you want all those details to look good, or all those details, exactly those same details on a character or something, what we do is we bake normal maps, and then we create a PBR shader out of it. We bake all the maps, the roughness map, the normal maps, and the bump maps. We divide those, and then we create a shader out of it, and out of that it will give me the look and quality that we see exactly inside ZBrush, or the high quality details. So even in this, if you can see, this was very detailed, and if we sculpt it inside ZBrush, and once we create a normal map out of it, it is going to give me the exactly the same look as it will be looking inside ZBrush or any other sculpting software. Is it clear now, sir?
Yeah, it is clear. Then what about your topic? Whatever you suggestion on robotic models, which is a detailed complexions in that,
Yes, sir. Even those models, like say for example, Mech Warriors, we are speaking about, right?
something like that.
Like something like these, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually,
So
there are more complex models. Think about a more complex models it has. So that, what is your suggestions on that?
okay. Basically, so if there is a lot of complex models and with lot of complex details, what I would suggest is doing retopology. Okay, which means tracing down your entire model and converting the same mesh into a low poly model. Okay, and then baking those details. Obviously we need to bake the details. Now how the model is, the details are baked, that is some other topic for some other time, because baking is a quite a lengthy process. But if you want, I could suggest a few, a few quick tutorials where you can find out, and you can see that you can retopologize your entirely, highly detailed mesh or model, and just simply bake those information over to that lower poly model that that you have recreated. See, this is the retopology process. Do the retopology, then unwrap it, then bake all those high poly details onto the. Here, so can if you can, see it. You must Students must have heard about this, but
Yes, sir.
see, then we trace the model, the entire model. You can do that in Maya as well by using quad draw. Okay, you must have heard about quad draw. You can retopologize your model. You can do the retopo of your model, and then you can bake the information. See, gaming pipeline is all about baking. As you can see, the retopo can also be done in ZBrush if you are sculpting inside ZBrush. See how a high poly model was, converted into a low poly model with exactly the same kind of detail. You can see. Now they are doing this in Max. If I'm not wrong, this is Max. But the process is same. All you have to do is retrace your entirely created mesh, which is, doing your entire model second time. And then you need to make sure that both the models, the low poly model the low poly model and the high poly model are in the exact same place, and then we can bake all those detailed information in an image over to that model. But the main deal over here is the low poly model should be unwrapped. It doesn't matter if the high poly model is unwrapped or not. Okay, so say for example, if you're making a very high detail mech warrior, we come back to that. You can just retrace it, entirely create, and then unwrap it, and then copy the details. Okay, so I hope I'm clear. Like it's quite a lot more lengthier than what I have explained, and it takes a lot of time, to be very honest, doing the entire model and then doing the retopology and then reapplying those maps, unwrapping it. But this is the workflow.
What is your key pointers on optimization?
So I'll go with PBR as like it is, just a minute. It is highly efficient, and even when we are making a movie or something, it renders quickly, and you don't need a high end PC for rendering, and that's what it is. Either ways, your high poly mesh are going to be converted into PBR someday. If you are not going to convert it, either the texturing artists that will be hired by studio, they'll be doing it. So that's the key thing here. I'm also going to show you from where you can get the PBR shaders to practice as of now. Okay, I'm going to list a few websites. The first thing is first, you have to search like this. Okay, free PBR. Materials or textures would do, whatever. See, there are loads and loads of websites. Okay, one of them is this free PBR. Mostly I download my textures from here. Now, difference between normal textures and PBR textures is this. Say, for example, if you write down bricks texture and not PBR texture, what you're going to get is just a normal plain flat diffuse texture, which is not bad. I mean, you can, if you are good, you can create your own PBR out of this as well. But what if you can get those over the internet for free, right? See, there are loads of textures. And if I write brick PBR texture, I'm going to get a set of maps. The maps like the maps that we had created, if you remember. So that is the difference in searching the texture. Sci-fi panels, models. See, there are a lot of. If I'll click one of them, here it is for Unity and it is for Unreal. But don't worry, you need to download this one, BL. Always in PBR textures, you will get sets of images. Always.
So what does that BL stands for? Blender or something else?
No, it's honestly, even I don't know because it is just a format for, like you see, you get images over here. Like if I'll click on Unity, I'll get the same thing. The maps are the same. And that's what it matters. This one is Unity. Height map, occlusion. Some of the maps that Unreal Engine shaders don't use won't be included over here. But if you're going to download from here, there's also one good website. We'll check that as well. Just a minute. Free PBR materials. Yes, CC textures, and even this one. Sorry, I forgot to mention about this share textures. Yes. Well, loads of softwares, and you will even get substance materials over here. So you can just have a look. You can see, and they all look glorious. Click any one of them. There you can see set of maps, and this is how it will look. I have all the maps. They've included all the maps. Albedo, roughness. Normally, you would see the gaming engines use roughness pipeline. It doesn't make a difference. Specular pipeline is the same. I'm going to show you right now what is the specular pipeline. Either ways, it is the same, but still. And this is CCO texture website. See, I've listed 3 or 4 good websites. You can also go ahead and find a lot of textures on this particular website. If you're showing a forest flow, I hope the Maya part is clear, the how to apply the textures. If you want, I can show this in Blender as well if anybody needs to see the same thing inside Blender. Obviously, we are not going to use the same texture. It is getting quite boring, so we'll use some other texture. If anyone needs over here to learn how to do this in Blender, if you can ask me.
Yes, sir. Sometimes in EV render engine, we are not able to show the displacement. The
The
displacement
bumps.
texture. Yeah, yeah,
Okay. Okay. So if you want, I can show that in Blender as well. Okay.
yeah. It will
Just
be
a minute.
better, sir.
Yes. Now we are not going to use this substance printer for this because either ways it is the same. Say exactly the same thing, plain. Uh, okay, so it's been quite a long time since I've used Blender. So let me, yeah, materials, new. See, the shader that we get in Blender is also physical base shader. See, principal PSDF, which is nothing but PBR shader. All we have to do is apply those maps inside these switches. Same thing you must have seen in Maya Arnold, right? We were seeing these same values. I'll add image, base color, open, books, masterclass, and we're going to use something else. We're going to use this. Rock cliff would be fine. And is the base color albedo. Okay, open the image. I'm going to just apply in the base color. We'll set this to rendered. Change the direction of the light. First, we are going to set this to sun and 3. Okay, so far, this is what we have. Now, Shift A, image search. I hope I'm not going too quick. We are going to search for roughness. Open image. Now, before that, we are going to set this color space to either raw or non-color. Non-color would do. Now just simply connect this to roughness. Okay, we are beginning to get the roughness that we need, although we need the bump maps. So what I'm going to do is first I'm going to search for my normal map. Oh yeah, here it is. Shift image texture. I'm going to go this, put this color, connect this color to color, normal to normal, and search for my normal map over here and set this to non-color. So basically we are beginning to get, sorry, need to rotate this well. I hope you can see it.
Yes, sir.
Now we are going to up, we are also going to apply bump map just to add a bit more to it, although we won't be needing it, but still, just do it. Normal to normal. And you can go ahead and take the screenshot of these nodes if you want. Okay. Looks too much. That's why we can just lower the strength so that you can notice. See. The values that we are getting, the control that we are getting is quite phenomenal in using PBR pipeline. Now, if you can see, we've got some fine detailed result over here.
Sir, there is another location where you can, I guess, plug the displacement map.
Yes, oh yeah.
So they both do the same.
Actually, if you'll plug it in over here,
Yeah. So we
what
have
this will
to
do
add
is,
another node, right? The
y-
displacement node over
yes,
there.
the displacement node.
Okay.
And then what will do is, this will do is, it will alter the surface as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It creates a bump, I guess.
Yes. The realistic look, see now, right now it looks flat.
Mhm.
And if I use that bump shader,
But sir, for that we just, I guess we have to like subdip the surface, I
increase
guess.
the polygons. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
So what it does is it actually takes a little bit, makes the poly a little bit higher, and it also
Yeah.
takes a little bit time in rendering.
Mm-hmm.
Only that is that is the only reason why I was avoiding the
Okay, okay.
displacement map. But either ways, we can plug it in over here, plug it over here, and tab w subdivide. Just a minute.
It's a right click, I guess. A right
Yes.
click.
I guess so. I've forgotten Blender. But yes, you were right. If for displacement map, you need to increase the polygons, but make sure, but make note of it that it takes a lot longer to render compared to what we have it right now. Okay, so if I'm going to switch to cycles, maybe I'm going to get the same result, only a little bit better than what we had. So I hope this looks impressive inside Blender as well. Honestly, if you'll ask me, it looks quite better, but still, the time that it takes to render inside Blender for bigger projects is quite high compared to Arnold Maya. This is what I'm saying from my personal experience. So is this clear? You might want to take the screenshot of this only, only cutting this. If you want, you can take the screenshot so that screenshot of the nodes. Now, if we had few more maps like specular and they all can go in the same way. The only deal is the colors will have sRGB and the rest of the maps will have non-color information. That's the key thing to understand over here. Okay, so now you know how to use it in Blender. Now we know how to apply them in Maya, and now we know how to export the textures out of Substance Painter. If you want, you can also create your account on Substance Exchange. If anybody has done it over here, you can get loads and loads of textures from Substance Exchange, and all of them are free. You can get a lot of materials. Even I download a lot of materials from there. If you have not heard about this, I'm going to still write it down. Just a minute. I guess I need to set this to solid because there are so many processes going on. Okay. This is what I am talking about. You can create your account over here for free and you can get lots of materials. And all of them are free, like materials. And then you can go ahead and alter them up on your own. I had one fire hydrant model which I wanted to show you. I should have shown that in the beginning. But I guess we just a minute. Because we have seen how the textures exported on a plane, but we haven't seen how the textures exported if we have some model with this kind of UVs, how the textures will look. Okay, I'll quickly show you. I'm going to quickly apply the textures. First, I'm going to bake the mesh maps. This is an important process. Baking the mesh maps will give you edge details inside Substance Painter, edge and contact shadow information details. Whenever you bring a model inside Substance Painter, you need to bake the mesh maps. It gives you extra information. Okay, see, there it is. Now I'm going to quickly apply my smart material, anything, and export the texture. Quickly do it. The rest of the things are clear by now. I hope so.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now we have sets of materials. Some are created by me, some have been downloaded. Lots of materials. That's why it takes a little while too. And I'm going to quickly apply this. And I'm going to set this base color to red. So that we have our fire hydrant. This looks very dirty and very ugly. Let me see how the lights are reacting. And they all look perfect, exactly the way I want. Now, if you're happy with this texture, what you can do is simply go ahead, File, Export Textures. Click on this, and then you'll get the same thing. Now, how does this look on a UV? Just a minute, there's some question I need to look up to. Okay. Okay, wonderful, the feedback. So 3D only. File, export the textures. 1K is good. PBR metal configuration is all okay. Don't alter this as of now. If you don't know anything about this, leave them as they are. And select the folder. Rock Jagger, Masterclass, Substance Painter, new folder. Always create folders. Always manage the things with folders. In that way your work will be look well organized, and the naming should be well nicely done. Right now I haven't done the name quite rightly, material 54, which is very confusing, but you shouldn't do that. Okay, you should keep the naming convention nicely. I'll hit export. One important thing to notice, or one important thing I wanted to show which I forgot to show you, was first, let me go over here, new folder. If you know the meaning of this, what these things does. See, no padding means the texture will come over the entire texture set. Dilate in dilation infinite, what it will do is it will fill up the texture, which is, and covering the entire UV, and rest of the areas where the UV is empty, it will try to compensate for it, try to create borders around it. And dilation with transparent means there won't be any background, only the textures that have been done inside the UV. So what we will do is we will select dilation plus transparent. I'm going to show you that first. Export the textures. I don't know if you are aware of this. File, open.
But sir, what is the purpose of this?
The purpose is simple. Say for example, if you want to fill up your background with with entire red, because whatever the see right now how this is looking, it is entirely, whatever which is inside UV is textured, but the rest of them is quite gray. So say for example, suppose for some reason your UV gets shifted, it will begin to take the color of this the gray borders. That's why either dilation or transparent is good. What dilation does is it fills up the areas covering the border with the color that was actually inside the texture. It expands the texture and it leaves the rest to as it is.
So sir, we can say that it is good for like low resolution textures. If I have a panel of 512 by 512, then
Yes.
I guess it will be a good
No,
option.
any resolution. If you set the dilation to either transparent, or like if you set this to, you know, dilation infinite or transparent, it will be good. Okay. If no padding is done, then it will take blacks. It will make your certain texture parts will be black, where your UV is not getting covered, kind of like that. See the 2D and 3D view, you will understand. The parts which has textures, the texture will look good. But if for some reason the UV gets switched or altered, if you set to no padding, it will begin to look black, which is not what we would want. It's just a technical thing, like, a thing to notice. And if used well, you'll get you'll get good results. These are the materials that I've actually created. Okay, I'm not applying, I'm just applying it for, showing things. Okay, so this is how our textures look. This is the base color, and now if you'll see, file, open, this is the height map. exactly what we want. There's some bit of heightness. If you'll, sorry, you'll select the curve and lower the colors, you'll see. I wonder if you can see. There's a bit of little bit height in it. File open. Go ahead. Check all the maps. This is the metallic map. Now, for this purpose, metalness map is important. That's why there is a lot of information inside the metal map. If there was, if we don't need any information, all we can do is simply set the entire thing black, and then everything will look non-metallic. That's the point here. So blacks means it will be a non-metallic thing. Whites mean there will be metal over there, metalness property over there. Okay. Same thing can be said about roughness. Here it is. Whites are entirely rough parts, rough areas. Blacks are entirely shiny areas. Grays are neutral areas, just to neutralize things. Okay, so I hope I'm clear, and I hope my communication with you was fine. I mean, like, you people understood. That's what I want to know. If you people got to learn something today.
I think it was a very nice session, sir.
Thank you. And are you, if students, you have any more questions, you can ask me.
Sir, I have one technical question. Like when I open Substance Painter, there is an error. Like I have a TDR value, low TDR value or something like
Yeah,
that.
same thing that I get. You need a high-end PC for
How
this.
to fix this? I mean,
Yes, let me go through it once again.
yeah.
Meanwhile, hello
Yes.
students. I have shared one feedback link in the chat box. So kindly fill the feedback form after the ending of the session. Thank you.
Okay, it's taking a little bit longer than usual. I'll close this. Okay, it's about to open. Meanwhile, I'll close these things. Okay, this is the error that you are talking about. Your current
Yes.
TDR, timeout direction, is too low. For this, you need a better graphics card, like,
Okay.
say, for example, 1080 or something. Even I have a low spec. So this error is gonna be there until unless you don't show me this pop-up again. You click on this, or I would recommend to get a better PC. The rest is all normal. Okay, so I guess we can stop the session over here, sir.
Yes, sir. Students, do you have any more queries or more questions? Any doubt? You can ask this, sir. Any doubt from anybody? So I think we should wind up the session. So it was a very wonderful session, sir. Thanks a lot for the
Thank you,
session,
sir. Thank you,
and
students,
thanks
for
for your time and effort. So
yes, thank
thanks a
you all
lot,
for
sir.
joining, and thank you for having me. Yeah,
Okay. Thanks a lot,
thank
sir.
you.